Okay, listen. So here we are introducing Google Firebase. So in this Google Firebase, so Google Firebase is the new kind of database. So I'm about to introduce here. So how to create the database in this one? So to create the database, you have to log in into the site firebase.google.com. Not on this site. So firebase.google.com is the site where you can create the where you can browse this Firebase and you can create the database here. So when you look for this website, so in this website, so in the top right corner, you are able to see here. Go to console. So you click on this. Go to console. Now you look at this one. The IP, I mean the website address here changed to console.firebase.google.com. So here I'm about to cover how to create the database and how to connect from the React. We cover both of these two now. So as of now, to create the database, so to make use of this one, you need to log in into the site called. So firebase.google.com. So in this, you can browse this site. So there you can create the Firebase database. So you can make this Firebase as backend for Android, iOS mobile applications, and also you can use this as backend in web applications. So now let us see how to create the database here. So this is the console what you are able to see in the Firebase. So here in the bottom you are able to see the languages, different languages. There you select the English United States, and here you click on the option. So here you have the option create project. So when you want to create the database, at first you need to at first you make use of this option, create project. So when you click on the create project, it will ask you to enter the name of the project. So here you give, so here I made the name of the project as CSD1. Now you click on this continue button. Then again you click on this continue. Now it will ask you for this one. So you select here default account for Firebase. You select here default account for Firebase. Now you click on this create project. Now it will create the project for you. So in the left, this is the dashboard of our project, and in the left hand side, you are able to see different options. So here you are able to see the option all products. You click on this all products. When you click on this all products, you are able to see in the right hand side an option called real time database. So you click on this real time database. So when you click on the React, so now you are able to see here when you click on the real time database, you are able to see here an option create database. Okay. So now you click on this create database. So after creation of the project, you are able to see in the left hand side an option called all products. There you select real time database. Okay, then you have to give the name of the database. Now it will ask you for these options. You continue with this one. So when you click on create database, it will ask you something like this. You don't change any of these values. You click on the next. Now it will be asking you. It will be showing you the rules. So you look at the rules here. So by default, read is false and write is also false. So here you have two options: start in locked mode, start in test mode. So you select this one, start in test mode. Then you click on this enable. Okay, now it has created the database for you. So now you click on this connection string. So you look at this one. So this is the connection string what we use while connecting with this database from the React application. So you click on this one or this one and look at this one. When you want to add data, so you have to click on this plus symbol. Okay. So now you give here record one or document one. Then you click on this one. Again click on this one. When you want to add another key value pair, so here the data is in the form of JSON objects only. You know that JSON objects are like dictionaries in the Python. What you have, yeah, they are like dictionaries in the Python. So here you create. So in this one you can create. So if so, you can add something like this. If you want to add new document to this one, so you go to here and you click on this one. So you can give another entry like this. So here you need not maintain the same structure. You can change the value. You can change the structure. When you want to add new entry to this document, so you can click on this one. So you can so you look at this one here. You look at the structure of the documents here. The document one is with values roll number, name, mail, and this one is having the values. This one is having the second document with the value student 2, student 1, and the structure here is different from one document to another document. So now you have to use this one when you want to connect with the database. So in this one you can create the database, and finally after adding the data to this one, you need to click on this add. So here now you created two entries here, student 2, student 1. So when you want to access this one, you have to use something like this. So from the React application, so there you can, when you want to connect from the React application, you have to use that connection string. So when you want to connect with that, so when you want to connect with that, you have to use this connection string. If you want to access student, you have to use like student.json. If you want to access student one, you have to use like student1.json. We have to use, so we can use this notation when while we are uh, while connecting from the React application. You have to use this connections. We have to use this one, and here so after adding the entries to the database, you have to click on the add button. Now you are able to see the entries added to this one. So this is the structure of the student, and this is the structure of student one. So now let me show you how to connect with this from the React program. So to connect with this from the React program, you can make use. So before getting into this, let me explain you something. So here you can see some other tabs. So right now we are in the data tab. So in the data tab, you are able to see the connection string. There you have added some entries, and here so the data you can see in the form of key value pairs. And here you can see another tab called rules. Okay. So if you want, you can change these rules. So all these accounts are free. You can you need not give any credit cards or any credit card details or any payment details while creating this Firebase account. You can directly log in with your Google account. Look at this one. So this is my Google account. So I have logged into this one. I mean, when you log in into this account firebase.google.com, it will ask you to log in. So you can log in into this one with the help of your Google account. You need not, if you want, you can create a separate account, or else you can join with your Google account. Now let me show you how to connect with this one from the React application. So a good code is available in the GitHub. Just a minute. Okay, now look at this one. So in your Google group, I mean in the WhatsApp group, I have added a link where you can find an application to access the React database. So I have given a GitHub link to you in the WhatsApp group. There you can find a very good application. A good React application. What you can use here. So in the previous lab, I have shared you a sample React application first. So you can download this folder and you can make use of this one. So I have placed the same link in your group also. You can browse this one. So here this is the project structure. You can see the folder src. So inside the src folder we have several files here. You look at this one. So in any React application, index.js is the entry file. So you look at index.js. So you know that index.js is the entry point into any application. So here you will be so by default you are able to see in any application index.js like this. So here you will be creating some root element with the help of the React DOM.create root. In the same manner, they created some root element. So in place of this, they have defined app. So now look at this code. So instead of writing multiple statements, they have directly created here. They have given directly that React DOM.render. So they haven't created any root node. Directly they are creating the reference to root element and they are giving here this one. Okay. So what is browser router? So you have to know about this one. When you want to create a link, I mean in the HTML you have something like anchor tag. So this is also like that. So now you look at this one. So inside the render, they are trying to display the app. So where this app? So this app was not defined here. So you look at this line, import app from dot slash app. So it means there is some file. There is some file in the root directory with the name app. Now look at this one. So is there any file with the name app? Yes, there is a file app.js. So in this they could have defined the app. Now look at this one. They have defined here app. So what is there inside this one? So inside this you have all these things. So exactly they have written the code to access the. I mean here they have given some website which was developed using React, and there they have access to the database which was created using the Google Firebase. So let me directly go to that page where they have used. I mean all these are different links. They are. Uh, displaying on the web page on their website. So in the contact, they have exactly used the uh, this one, the Firebase database. Let us go to directly this contact.js where they have exactly used the. Let me show this file so that you can better understand this one. Now look at this one. So look at this one. So just now you have seen this in our Google Firebase also. So here we are using the fetch API. We are using fetch API. Just like in the HTML, you might be using form method equal to post to action equal to something in that way. So method equal to post in the sense you are posting data from web page to the database. Okay. Now look at this one. So what is this one? Maybe you can estimate now what is this one. So this is the name of the database what they have created, just like our student. So in the Google Firebase, we have created here Firebase. I mean student dot student. So just like that, here they created user data dot data records dot JSON. So we are using here an API called fetch. Let me show you first. You look at this one. Maybe you can understand what is this one. So here there is a return block. You know what we write inside the return block. So you look at the content of the return block. So look at this one. You look at the content of the return block. You are able to easily understand this one. So here there is some img tag. Just a minute. Now look at this one. So input type equal to text means you get here some text box. In the same manner here there is another text box email. There is another text box phone. So here they are maintaining multiple text boxes. When you enter the data in the text boxes, now look at this one. Here there is one input tag, input type equal to text. From this we get a text box with the name first name. So look at the next one. There is another text box which is referred using last name. Okay, let us see the first one here. Input type equal to text, name equal to first name. Okay, now look at this one. Value equal to curling braces user dot first name. So in the JavaScript, so you are aware of the JavaScript. So in the JavaScript, when you want to access the value of the text box, you will be using something like document dot get element by ID of ID of the text box, and then you give here value. Okay, so what is this value? This is the attribute in the tag. So the same we are talking about the same here. So you look at the code now so that you can better understand. So whatever the value you are entering into this text box, so that will be copied automatically into this one. So something in the curling braces indicates this belongs to React. Okay. Now let me show this to you exact. And before getting into this, you look at this one. So you know what is you know about the event on change. So in the on change there is something written in curling braces post user data. Means you have to define in the React some function post user data. So there you might be defining what to do when someone change the value of this one. So let us see what is there inside this function, inside this post user data. So here there is some text box whose name is first name, and when you change the value of that text box, it will execute the method post user data. Now look at this one. Have you seen this? So when you change the value of this one will execute. So you know how to define the React function. I mean React. You can define the React in the form of a variable or inline function, something like that. So now what is this one and what is this one? We have to know these two. Event dot target dot name, event dot target dot value. So this is something equal to, where is it? Okay. So event dot target dot name. So this is almost equal to, this one is equal to something like this one. Document dot get element by ID of. So what is the name of our tag here? First name. So in React JS, instead of writing this one, so right now you are doing event on some text box. So it is the target. So what you are doing here an event. So event dot target. What is the name of that target? So it is dot name. So when you want to access its value, you can make use of. So the target is your text box, and the event is on change. And when you want to get the value of the target, I mean value of the text box on which event is performed, you can use this one dot value. Hope you understood now what is this one. So now the target here is, look at this one. Now here we are doing event on this text box. So now this is our target. So event dot target dot name gives you, okay, right now we are working on this one. I am trying to explain this one. So event, you are performing event. Which event? You are changing the value of this text box. So when you change the value of this text box, it will execute, it will fire this event. So when you change the value of this one, it will execute this one, post user data. and event dot target dot name. So now this is our target. The event what you are performing here is you are changing the value of this text box, and you are performing the event on. So event dot target dot names gives you this one. Event dot target dot value gives you the value entered in the text box. Now let us see what is this one. Something placed in the curling braces indicates this belongs to React. Remember this one. Now let us see what is there inside this post user data. So you look at this post user data. So we are defining here post user data just like an inline function. So brackets, I mean this gives you the event which was performed. So the event we are performing here is on change, implies curling braces. So this is the definition of post user data. So you look at something what you are doing here. So this is applied to. So right now we are talking about the first text box. So in the first text box, when you change the value, this will automatically execute post user data. And here you are bringing the value into name variable. So you are performing event on some text box whose name is first name. So that is brought into this one, and the value which was entered into that text box is brought into this variable. Now you look at this one. What is this set user data? We have to know what is this one. So you know that we store the values of the form in the state. Now you look at this one. So you know what is the user state. When you want to store the values and values, you can make use of the user state. Okay. Okay, let me show you a small example so that you can better understand. Okay, let us look at a very small example. So you look at this one. Here there is a text box. Okay, whose there is a text box. So here itself. So now look at this one. If you want, you can store the values. You can store the attributes in the use state. Okay. So the name of the, I mean, something you are storing here is name. When you want to set the value of this one, you can make use of this function. Okay, hope you have understood this one. So when you want to store some data in the variable user state, you have to use the rotation like. So in the state, you can store the attributes. So when you want to use the state, you have to make use of the method called user state. Suppose I want to store the attribute some x. So when you want to store the value x, you can use like this. And what is the value here? So you haven't given it. If you want to make the value of this one as some 10, when you want to make the value of this one as some 10, you can give that here. In the other languages, you write like x equal to 10. The same we are writing here like this. Okay. So here x is the variable attribute which we are storing in the state, and the initial value we are assigning to this x is 10. And what to do when you want to change in future, I mean At some later point of time, how to change the value of this x. So for that you can make use of the, I mean, to change the value of this x at some later point of time, you can make use of something like this one, set x. Okay, you know the Java notation. When there are multiple words, you have to capitalize the first word, first letter from second onwards. The same notation I have used here also. When you want to set the value of the variable x at some later point of time, you can make use of this function. It is the meaning of this one. So now look at, hope you have understood this one. Now we are storing the variable x in the state, and we have assigned the initial value 10 to this one. When you want to change the value of the x at some later point of time, you can make use of this function set x. Now look at the code, what is there here. So use state, we are storing the data in this state variable state. And what is the variable we are storing here? Name. And what is the initial value here? It is 0. We are not giving any value. And what is the method where we will use when you want to set the value of the name? Set name. So we are using some function to set the value of this variable. So what is the initial value given here? Set name. I mean 0. We haven't given any value. Now look at this one. Here there is some text box. So when you change the value of this text box, what will happen? It will execute this function. Here itself, I mean, something written in curling braces in the sense you are writing some code which is belonging to React. Now look at this one. Here they define some inline function. Now look at this one. What is this? Set name. So what this will do? It will change the value of this variable. So what will be the value of this one? You look at this one. E dot target dot value. So what is the, I mean, now we are changing the value of this text box. So now the target is this one, and you are reading the value means something you entered in the text box. Now it is copied into this variable. Okay. So in this way we have, so in this way now look at this one. Look at another, I mean, so now whatever the value copied here, whatever the value we got into this variable, now they are printing that in some alert window. Now look at this one. When you want to access this value, you have to, okay, now look at this one. There is one more button, input type equal to submit. So when you submit this form, what will happen? This one will execute on submit. What you have written inside this one, handle submit. So when you click on this submit button, this will execute a function, a React function handle submit. Now look at the handle submit. What is there inside this one? You are displaying an alert. So in the JavaScript, you might have seen this one. The name you entered was something you have copied from the, I mean, something which was what you have entered in the text box. Hope you have understood this. Okay, now let me run this example so that you can better understand. Now look at this one. Because of this, so because of this code we got here. Now look at the output of this one. Enter your name, some text box, and some submit button. So when you change the value of this one, when you change the value of this one, what will happen? Look at this one. When you change the value of this text box, it will make a call to the function set name. What this set name will do? This set name will change the value of the variable. So it will assign the value which is entered in the text box. E dot target dot value is the value what you have entered in the text box. Okay. So you are making both of these two equal, or you can assume like this. So whatever the value you have entered in the text box, now this is copied into name variable. So now name is having the Krishna what you have entered here. When you click on this submit button, what will happen? When you click on the submit button, this one will execute. What you have written inside the on submit, handle submit. So you look at the handle submit function here. So inside the handle submit, you are writing code like you are displaying an alert window with the message like the name you entered was. So you are printing the value entered in the value present in the text box. I mean name. Dollar in curling braces, you have to give the variable name. This will show the value. Let me run this one so that you can understand. The name you entered was something you entered in the text box. Hope you have understood how you got this one. So in the same manner, here there is a text box. Just a minute. So in the same manner, here there is a text box. Look at the example here. In the same way, here there is a text box whose name is first name. When you change the value of this one will execute post user data. Okay. And what about this one? This is the name of the variable what we are storing in the state. As this user data is not a single entry, it is having multiple data items in it. So one of them is first name. You look at this one. You look at this one now. So use state. We are storing some data in the state variable. So what is the attribute we are storing here? It is user data. So this user data is not a single variable. So it is like some dictionary. It is having so many values inside it, so many other sub attributes in it. You look at the sub attributes, first name, last name, something like that. So when you want to refer the first one, you have to use like user data dot first name. Okay. So now if you want to refer something inside this first box, you have first name. You have to refer like user data dot first name. Okay, whatever you enter in the text box. So now it is present inside this one. Now look at this one. When you change the value of the text box, it will execute the method post user data. So inside this, what you are doing, you are bringing the value name of the text box into this variable. You are bringing the value entered in the text box into this variable, and finally you are bringing that into the variable what you have stored in the state. It is user data. Okay. So now user data. So what is the name? What can you tell? What is the name here now? First name. What is the value here? Something you entered in the text box. So now this one is present in this user data dot name and user data dot value. Now look at this one. So in this return block there is finally some text box. So I will run this in the next class so that you can better understand. Now look at this one. Finally, there is a button. So you will be entering values into the text boxes, and finally you will be pressing on this button. So here you have defined on click equal to something in curling braces submit data, means it is the function which is belonging to React. Now let us see the code inside the submit button, submit data. So when you enter the values and click on this button, it will execute this function submit data. You look at the function submit data. So what is there inside the submit data? So you look at the submit data function. So when you click on the button, it will execute the submit data. Now, what is there inside this one? User data dot first name. Okay. So now this one. So now whatever the values entered in the text boxes. Okay, all these are brought into React. I mean, all the values which are entered in the text boxes now they were written into. Just a minute. So in the fetch API, you have to mention. Get this one. So in the fetch API, you look at the argument. So fetch API is to connect with the Fire database from the React. Now you have the values entered in the text boxes in these variables. First name, last name. Now look at this one. So you have stored user data in the state. So we have seen only the first one, first data, first name. So now this is holding the value entered in the text box. So in the same manner, they brought all the values entered into text boxes into these variables. Okay, now with the help of this one, they are trying to connect with the React database. Post means from the web page you are bringing data into React. I mean, from the React, you are posting data into Firebase. So, because of in that case, you make use of the post here. When you want to bring the data from database onto web page, you will be using here post. I mean get. So here you are using post means you are transferring data from web page to database. So what you are transferring here? First name, last name, phone, email, address, message. All these are different variables which are holding now the values. How we got the value into this one? How we got the value entered in the text box into this one? Look at this. Look at this just now. So what is the use of this function? Set user data. Look at this line. When you want to change the value of the variable, you will be using this function, right? So now you are changing the value. So this user data is not a single one. It is having several values in it. So user data dot first name. You are changing. You are setting the value of this one. Now look at this one. When you want to change the value of the user data, you are using this function. So inside the post user data, when you change the value of the text box, you are calling this function. So inside this, you are calling set user data. This will change the value of the user data. Particularly, you are changing the value of the first name. So what is the meaning of this one? In other languages, you write like x equal to 5. Instead, here you write like x colon 5. Means what is the value inside this one now? What is the name of the text box on which we are confirming the email? It is first name, and the value entered in this is present in value. Means the value you have entered, it is copied, it is assigned now to the variable first name. So this is how you got the value into first name. Okay, now with the help of this one, you are writing the data into these variables. Okay. So in the next class, I will tell you how to how can we, I mean, in the next class, I will show you how to, I will run this application so that you can better understand this one. Okay. Okay, as of now, maybe so much of students are not feeling comfortable. I will continue the next class. As of now, let me stop here. So I will record the attendance from the Google Meet. You don't worry about that. Okay, thank you for joining this one. In the next class, we try to run this application so that you can better understand. Okay, as of now, let me